Jonathan Darko Tim and Robert Frimpong Mansell are familiar faces on the screens of Ghana television. They have over the years ensured that the news is translated into sign language for the deaf community in recognition of the state broadcaster's mandate as a public service broadcaster. Jonathan, who works with the Ghana National Association of the Deaf, said sign language was the first language he learned as a child since his father and mother were born deaf.
I believe that every child growing up, you learn like your L1 from your parent. So the way an Akan will give birth and then teach your child how to speak Twi, the way an every person would do the same thing. I learned sign language as my first language because my parents were deaf people. That was the only mode of communication. So they would teach me maybe this is cap, this is how you sign cap, maybe this is how you sign father, this is how you sign mother, and that's how come it started. So I was just learning that, and we started communicating from that young age. I didn't have speech then. It was just sign language. So later on, I learned speech when we went to stay with my grandma.
He recounts the stigma his parents had to endure from family and society, which spurred him on to take up sign language interpretation as a career.
I only wanted to be the bridge between the deaf community and the hearing community. That was my whole focus because I felt like deaf people were left out, in everything when it comes to society, when it comes to, news, when it comes to everything. Deaf people were left out. They were not involved in any kind of discussions because I saw what my parents went through when it comes to family gatherings, family discussion. Those things, they were left out. They will have the whole meeting before then, like they'll have the whole meeting. When they are done with the meeting, they'll call my mom and just give her, summary of all that happened. And summary of the meeting is not the entire meeting, so she ends up missing out a lot.
Robert Frimpong Mansell is another known face who has served as a bridge between the hearing and the deaf community, especially on Ghana television. Robert said he showed interest in signing at the age of 17 when he worshipped at the Church of Christ, where a deaf person used to frequent the church for Sunday services.
Those days, they used to missionaries coming from the US, Church of Christ missionaries, to come to Ghana to evangelize. So it came to a time that they went to evangelize, and this deaf person went there with a church. So during interaction, one of the evangelists happened to be a sign language interpreter in the US. So he got to know that that man is deaf. So he started communicating with him and interpreting the preaching to the man. So he started to teach one brother in the church. So one day I approached him. I said, Nana, I learned you are teaching sign language. I will learn. And that time I was very small. Okay. Very small. I was around, let me say, 17, 18 years.
But how difficult is it for one to learn the sign language? According to Robert, one trait one would need is determination. Robert, is the sign language so difficult that we can't learn?
Sign language is not so difficult, though I would say somehow difficult, but it's not difficult. So if you make your mind that you learn, you can learn. I learned, and I can do it. So if you learn it, you can do it.
Okay, so Robert, just show us some basic greetings that we can just communicate with.
Good. Before I start with the greetings, our greetings begins with good. So I'll first teach you the sign for good, then we proceed. Now, we sign with our dominant hand. So if you are right-handed, you use the right. If you're left-handed, you use the left. Good. So with the sign for good, you place the fingertips of your right hand on your lip like this. Then drop the back of it into the left open palm. Down. That is a sign for good.
Good.
Good. Again.
Good.
Good. Once again.
Good.
Yeah. And This hand represents the sun for greetings or in greetings, right? So, you know, in the mornings the sun rises, right? So we presume the sun is hidden and it is going to rise. So it rises upwards like this. Good. So when it rises up, it's what? It's morning. That is morning. So you place the left palm here, like in the inner elbow like this. Then move the right palm upwards. That is morning.
Morning.
Morning. Morning. Morning. That is normal morning. If you want to do the greetings, then you add the good.
Good
morning.
Wow.
Good morning.
Morning.
Then in the afternoons, the sun drops down or it falls. So as it's right like this, it will definitely fall. When it's going to fall, the palm will turn to left position.
So what happens to your left hand? It comes under.
The left hand comes under the right elbow, or the right elbow rests on it.
Okay.
With the fingers pointing up. Then it will fall down. Afternoon, 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 late afternoon. Then it's what? Evening.
Oh.
Then when it's height, night.
Jonathan spoke about the challenges children in the deaf community face, which affects their enrollment in school, with most of them entering class 1 at the age of 12 instead of 6.
In Ghana, we have this myth that if you give birth to a deaf child, then it means that your family is cursed, or maybe like that is your bad thing. And it's all just myth. So they end up, hiding this child, and this child will know nothing until somebody comes in and says that, no, there's a school for the deaf there where he can attend school and learn something, get some skills and become someone important in the future.
According to him, he volunteered as a sign language interpreter at a school for the deaf in Koforidua in the Eastern region for 8 years during his JHS days.
I was interpreting for the Deaf Association in Koforidua for like a very long time, from JHS 1 till I was done with high school. I got a job with RLG when they came. I was interpreting for the deaf community also till I came back to Accra. And then I became a sign language interpreter, like fully, as a professional job.
Currently, Jonathan holds a diploma in sign language interpretation from the University of Cape Coast. According to Jonathan, he was mocked by most of his peers for opting for sign language interpretation as a career. However, according to him, his choice made his parents extremely proud.
My mom didn't live long to see me today, but my dad did, and he was so proud. He was so proud.
He recounts his journey so far as a sign language interpreter at a state broadcaster.
I do remember the first day I told him that I got a job here at GBC. He was like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Hey, yeah, I'm serious. I'll be on TV very soon." So that day, I remember my siblings telling me that they were all, by the TV set watching to see whether that was true. And after that first day of me being on GBC, my dad has his colleagues, his friends, everybody calling in to congratulate him for the good work that he did. Like, he played a major role in me becoming who I am today, with teaching me everything that I need to, anything that I needed to know, being a sign language interpreter.
This is Mr. Juventus Dowenya, a lawyer and the executive director of the Ghana Association of the Deaf. Speaking through an interpreter, Juventus said he is determined to help stop the stigmatization of persons with disability, especially in the deaf community.
In Africa, especially in Ghana, persons with disability, we face a lot of stigma, a lot of discrimination. People have these ideas that if you're a person with disability, you have no future. But all these things have motivated me to work hard to change the narrative on persons with disability. The second thing that I would say is, as a person with disability myself, we also have to, enjoy some of the social activities that we have when it comes to economic activities, social life and all that. And I would want to be, have a feel of that. So to achieve that, you have to work hard. To achieve all these things, you have to put in the work so that you'll be able to also support other people in the society.
Juventus spoke of the challenges he has surmounted to reach this far and also advised parents not to be embarrassed about their deaf children.
Okay, so as I said earlier on, me myself, I've been a deaf person. I've gone through the system from primary school, JSS, high school to now. It's been a lot. The bitter, the pain, the suffering, I've gone through it all. But one thing that's very clear, if you're a deaf person out there, no matter how difficult things are, you can be successful. I would advise parents who have deaf kids, look at me. I'm a deaf person, I use sign language, but at the same time too, I have an IQ as a hearing person. If you have a child who is deaf, please give him or her the resources that will support him, enable him, learn. And please be interested in their welfare so that they can also become successful people just like I am today.
For Robert Frimpong Mansell, he always feels a sense of pride when he provides service that enables the deaf community to understand what is happening at state events. To him, interpreting sign language during the 7 o'clock bulletin on Ghana television gives him a sense of gratification.
If you are standing on the TV, look at the Ghana community. The whole of Ghana watching GTV, watching a program, and you are the only one person doing the sign for deaf people. Even those who are not deaf will say, who's that guy? What is he doing? Oh, this guy is trying, he's doing well, oh. You see, so standing on TV, in fact, it makes you feel good.
Robert says it has been no mean achievement for him as he has been given the honor of interpreting speech into sign language for 5 Ghanaian presidents and their vice presidents in the Fourth Republic.
You see, sometimes I stand by the president. I stood by ex-president Atamaris. I stood by ex-president J.J. Rawlings. I stood by vice president, ex-president Mahama. Every current president, you see, and I feel proud, I feel good.
He gave funny instances where the public who recognized him as a sign language interpreter assumed he was deaf.
When you are signing, though we mama, right, but you don't pronounce the word, you don't open the mouth, right? So people wonder, this guy there, can he hear? Is he also a deaf or what? Let me give you one scenario. The first day I came to GTV to interpret, people thought I was deaf. The cameraman thought I was deaf. Until one day I was signing, I was even getting prepared to sign, and my phone rang. So I started to pick the call. They were in the studio. They came and said, hey, so when we can talk. So right now, if you go to GTV, it's a name, it's like a fun name there. When we can talk, right? They thought I'm deaf as well. Sometimes in Trotro, if you are sitting, like traveling with a deaf, and in Trotro or in a bus, when you were deaf, chatting and using your sign language, people say, hey, move for the book, we move. Could do until I say, then you see everyone is quiet in the bus.
Oil you are using to fry your egg, you are increasing the fat in the egg already. And this is why people are shifting cholesterol to eggs.
Jonathan said elsewhere the job is a rewarding one, but in Ghana, the service of a sign language interpreter comes with an average pay of 200 Ghana cedis an hour. For instance, in the UK, an average sign language interpreter earns £20 per hour, while in Canada, it is about $33 per hour.
Tell people our rates, and they go like, you guys are charging, your fees are too expensive. But what they fail to say is that our job actually entails a lot. It's not just throwing up your hands in the air, no. One thing that people don't know is that we are not translators. We don't translate. So when you go to church and the pastor is preaching in English, someone is translating into Twi, that one is different. For interpreters, we interpret what we hear. Like there are certain words that we don't have signs for. So then you have to find the closest in meaning to make sure that whatever thing that is being said, you can interpret it in the context that will still match what the person says. We don't have a sign for gene, like the genome system in the human body. We don't have a sign for that. So we spell. But it's up to you, the interpreter, to interpret that in that short possible time, whilst the speaker is still, going.
He gave clues of how a hearing person can deduce that a sign language interpreter did a good job.
The only way an interpreter will know that you're doing a good job is that after you interpret, if the deaf people are able to, ask questions that are relevant to what was said, then you know that you've done your job. But when you do a whole program, you interpret, and everybody was like, okay, nobody's asking questions. Most of the times, you didn't do anything. It's either that they don't understand, or they will ask questions, and the questions that they will ask will have nothing to do with what was said. Then it means that you, the interpreter, you actually didn't do anything. So our job is really hard. It involves a lot of thinking. That is why you realize that when we go for programs, we don't go alone. Every program, an interpreter, you need 2 interpreters for every program. But if it is 1 hour and above, 1 hour, 30 minutes, you need 2 interpreters. Because after 1 hour, you, the interpreter, your mind gets tired. So you realize that what happened when Nelson Mandela died, the interpreter. Some people were saying that, oh, he was a fake interpreter. No, he was actually an interpreter. He knew sign language. But the thing was that he was interpreting like for almost 3 to 4, 5 hours alone.
Robert says the deaf community is a very friendly one to anyone who can communicate with them.
So if a deaf person gets to know that you are able to communicate with him, every day he'll be in your house. So in my house, they'll come to my house. They are very friendly, especially if they know you can communicate with them. Anytime they have issue, they call you. They come to assist.
Jonathan advised parents not to hide their deaf children, as many have attained heights in different endeavors of life.
The fact that your child is deaf doesn't mean that he or she has no future. And to be honest, we have the first deaf lawyer in Ghana, who is my director, Juventus Dorena. He's the first deaf person to complete his LLB at University of Ghana. There are other deaf people doing amazing things in Ghana. Just take your child to any deaf school available. And God being so good, we have deaf schools across the country, from primary to at least JHS. Everywhere, every region in Ghana at least has one deaf school.
It is obvious that sign language is not as difficult as we've made it to seem. And for those in the hearing community, we have to put in much effort to be able to communicate easily with those in the deaf community.
Robert and Jonathan called on the government to come out with a policy that will make sign language part of the educational curricula to ensure that children can communicate well with their counterparts who are hearing impaired. Esther Eidu Ohumewu, reporting for GBC News, Accra.